Welcome to the Next Generation Fishing Reporter. I'm your host, Andy Alvarez.
And I'm your co-host, Mike Minia.
Today we're going to talk about what was being caught over the weekend. We're actually going to do a tournament report for the last couple of weeks, talk about what was being caught. Me and Captain Denny Barrow here are going to talk about the Goliath grouper again. I think it's very important. There's our workshops left, and we want you to actually go to, and we'll give you the dates. We're going to go to the weather predictions for this weekend and everything else when we get back. So weather and predictions for this weekend, let's talk about what's not going to happen and what I think you might happen.
As far as we're going to do the report though first, right? The report is that there is no report. So, basically it's been too rough out. So you know, basically.
Well, there was a weekend report. You guys talked about
well,
that.
inshore, the snook are biting, the tarpon are biting, the snapper are biting inside the inlets. And what I'm going to do right now, keep things short because we have a long show. I'm going to show you a rig for the hot fish with a snapper in the inlets. Welcome to the Next Generation Fishing Report, Rig of the Week. This week, snapper is the hot fish. You know, and just bottom fishing in general right now. What's happening is in the inlets, in the intercoastal, there are some snapper, mangrove snappers. I've even heard of cubera snappers right now in there. In addition, the red grouper bite is red hot. So this rig can be used for anything. I am specifically tailoring this rig to fishing the inlets. All right. What we're going to use is a circle hook. You're going to want to match the size circle hook to the size bait you're using. Right now I prefer to use live mullet because they're around. If it's finger mullet, I'd like to go with like a 4 to 5/0 circle hook. But if they're a little bit bigger than finger mullet, then start moving up to 6/0, 7/0 hooks. All right. Now, you know, your main line, anywhere between 20 to 30 pound test is fine for your main line. Now for leader, I do request that you use fluorocarbon. The reason is you want the abrasion resistance. Forget about the invisible and all that for fluorocarbon. You want the abrasion resistance for it, especially when you're fishing the inlet. There's rocks there, pilings, everything. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a short leader here. And the reason is because, you know, there's a lot of current there. You want to feel the bite. And, you know, there's all kind of different things happening in the inlet. So I'm going to tie my circle hook on. Tie it using your favorite knot. All right. I'm going to use a uni knot. Okay. All right. So now my circle hook's tied on. I'm going to cut the tag end off. All right, I'm going to go with a 3-foot leader here and a barrel swivel. The barrel swivel is going to be 50 pound. You can go a little heavier if you'd like, but the barrel swivel is not going to be your weak part of the rig on this. All right. Now I'm going to tie this barrel swivel on. When you're fishing these inlets, what you want to do is, after every time you pull in your rod to check your bait or catch a fish, you want to check your line. Feel the line for any nicks or abrasion or any of that kind of stuff, because you will have to retie very often. All right. So my leader's made now. 3-foot leader with my circle hook. Okay. Now I'm going to take my main line. I'm going to use a little heavier weight than I normally would. We're going to go with a 2-ounce to 3-ounce weight. Okay? Slide that on, and then tie your main line onto your barrel swivel that's connected to your leader. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is just tie this on with my uni knot. All right? Now I'm going to explain a couple things to you here. I'm going to cut this tag end off so it's nice and good here. Now, with your weight, all right, there's a couple things you need to be careful of. You see how this weight sits on top of that barrel swivel? Okay, you want to use a bigger barrel swivel if you don't have beads like I did. I told you to use a 50-pound swivel. This is more like an 80-pound swivel. The reason is because on this weight, the hole is quite big, and you don't want your weight to go over your barrel swivel. So there's two kinds of ways to rig this. One is with a bigger barrel swivel. The other way to rig this is you put a bead on which spaces your barrel swivel and your weight. I do prefer the bead, all right? But this kind of fishing is last minute. You hear they're biting, you go, and you re-rig a lot, you catch a lot of fish. So with this kind of fishing, you don't have time to mess around with beads and stuff like that. The fish aren't picky either, so go with a bigger barrel swivel, okay? We're not trying to be stealth like when we're mutton snapper fishing and stuff like that. This is get the job done kind of stuff, all right? So this is where you could be a little more sloppy. You might miss a couple fish, but the bite is hot, and you don't want to miss a fish due to you re-rigging. You want to miss a fish, because you're catching a lot of them. All right, so this is perfectly acceptable. Bigger swivel to hold that weight up. All right, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to catch live mullet, and we're going to use the live mullet. If the live mullet dies, no big deal. Put it out anyway. But there's plenty of mullet in the inlets, in the intercoastal, everywhere. And what you're going to want to do is, there's different ways to hook these live mullets. All right, I prefer to go from inside the mouth. All right, so this is the fish's mouth. You go from inside the mouth up and through the top of his mouth. All right, so the hook is kind of like sitting in its mouth with the. All right, that is the perfect way to hook a mullet. And it'll just sit there in the current. It'll swim, and you hold your rod. Okay, you cast it out and you hold your rod, and you wait for the bite. Start gauging the kind of fish that are caught. If they're bigger fish and smaller bait, you want to set that hook. When I say set the hook with a circle hook, there's different ways to set hooks with circle hooks. You don't jerk it back. You let them have it, and you just come tight with your rod. All right, you don't set the hook. And then if they're smaller fish, you let them eat it. You let them run with it for a while. Okay, and the way that you're going to fish this rig is a little different. You can either hold it there in the current. All right. You can hold it there in the current, and it'll just swim. Or if things aren't happening, see this weight? What happens is it hits the bottom, and pretend this is sitting on the bottom. You can let line out, and that bait will swim and take more line out, and you can free line it, but the weight will sit on the bottom. All right? Or you could just sit there and let it sit on the bottom. If the bite's hot, which it is, that's all you're going to have to do is let it hit bottom and just hold it for a little while and feel the bite. And we have everything you need and more here at X Generation, so come see us. And this is your X Generation Fishing Report, Rig of the Week.
Welcome to X Generation Fishing Report Tournament Recap. I'm joined by Captain Mike. Welcome back. Off for a couple of weeks. I know you've been busy with all the past storms that have been with us.
Yeah, a little busy.
So tell us about it. This weekend we had Chasing Tails.
Yeah, the Chasing Tails tournament.
And then we had Andy's right before that.
That's right.
The X Generation tournament.
Fishing was tough. The water quality was bad. Bait was tough. There were blue runners out there, but almost zero goggle eye.
What is going on with that? Tell me about that. Let's talk about that.
The goggle eye are further offshore.
There's a lot of green water. I know they're dumping.
It wasn't until the day before the tournament that the bait guys were able to catch their goggle eye. And they actually went out the morning of the tournament and caught more goggle eyes so they can sell enough. The blue runners were out there, but they were only biting a little bit. For example, we found out the bait situation was bad. So after work on Thursday, we said, okay, we're going to go Thursday night after work. We skipped the captain's meeting. We sent Alicia to go to the captain's meeting to sign us up, Our Lady Angler. And while we went bait fishing, because it was that bad. And then we were like, and then if we don't catch them tonight, we'll go in the morning and get them again. So
we've done that before. We've gone first thing in the morning,
that's right.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to catch bait.
And our friends were coming in from bait fishing all day. And they said they got zero bait.
Wow. So waste the gas all day chasing bait.
And then we went out, and within 15 minutes, we found the bait and loaded up. We got enough to pre-fish with and fish the turtle. It was just, they were not biting. And it just so happened that they bit right before dark. and so then we came in, but finding the pocket of clean water was not easy.
I heard it was tough.
There was yes. However, we caught 14 kingfish that day.
But
so the kingfish were biting.
This time of year, though, you're not getting those 40-pounders like you do in the spring. You're getting those smaller fish
This is the time of the year, September, October, when a wahoo wins the fishing tournaments. You're not going to get a 50-pound kingfish, but you will get a 40, 50-pound wahoo.
Like last weekend, the weekend before in Andy's tournament, like he mentioned, 57-pound wahoo.
Right. Yeah.
It's the species to target in these later tournaments in the season.
And what happened was, and a wahoo did win it. I think it was 42 pounds. Wahoo won the tournament. It was out of Hillsboro. The Young Guns guys. The Young Guns was out of town, but his guys fished the tournament on a smaller boat, and they won the tournament with a wahoo out of Hillsboro.
I saw your video on Facebook as they're driving by with the winning fish.
Yeah, we knew they had it. As soon as I saw that fish, I said, they're going to win it. And then there was another wahoo, about 33 pounds caught, and then a kingfish of 33 pounds. And those were the three biggest fish of the tournament. Now, you do that in April, May, June, July, most of those fish wouldn't even place, really. The wahoo would, but it takes kingfish of the upper 30 pounds and 40 to 50 pounds to win a tournament. And
anybody can catch dolphin.
That's right, and the dolphin. There was some dolphin caught too, smaller dolphin, but they were there.
Well, it's proven because when we fished together a couple months ago, Andy could not get a dolphin.
He just couldn't. He could not. I mean, he had one dolphin on, and he nursed that dolphin. He fought it till it was dead.
Fake news. Fake news.
Andy fought that dolphin.
He fought that like 10 pounds of drag like a kingfish.
Yeah, and he milked it just so he can say he caught a dolphin.
So proves anybody can catch a dolphin.
That's right. Anybody, especially that was Andy's first dolphin in like 5 years. You know that, right? At least 5 years.
I can
listen, guys. I'm serious. The CNN just hired these guys.
But
on a side note on that, I did, to give Andy some props on that, I did go sword fishing with Andy at nighttime, and we did catch a sword, and I tell you what, he can sword fish at nighttime.
See, every time I've been sword fishing with Andy, I caught dolphin at night on sword fish with 10-0 circle hooks. It's true. And Andy wasn't even the one who caught the dolphin, it was me. I was reeling the bait in, and I was like, look at that, there's a dolphin. So, but...
so tournament fishing this time of year, it's wahoo. It's what you got to go for.
Yeah, and we caught 14 kingfish that day.
What's the size of
the biggest was 21 pounds. Most of them were about 13 to 15 pounds. And we found some nice baits in the morning, and that we pre-fished the day before. And we were catching some little bonitas, bullet bonitas about that big, and we put them back out. And the day before, we got a nice hit on one and lost it. And then the next day, we were pulling all day those bullet bonitas. And even the 15-pound kingfish were biting them. But we did have 2 monster hits on them and lost them. But these bullet bonitas, they don't last long. You basically, when you put one back out, you got to hold the rod in your hand and just be ready for the bite because it's vicious. And what happens is that I don't do it a lot. So when I was doing it, I realized what was going on. When there's a predator coming after them, they will swim towards the boat, and they'll get hit and cut in half before you even know it was hit, because those bonitas are fast. You need to troll them a little faster so you keep the line tight and tension on them. But you will never know you got the hit unless you're holding that rod and watching the tip of that rod the whole time, because they'll swim towards the boat and they'll get hit and you'll never even know it.
So guys, when you're out there wahoo fishing this time of year, if you choose next year to tournament fish this time of year, because tournament season is pretty much over and you're targeting these species with the wahoo, it's not as easy as it sounds. You got to be in the right place. You got to be at the right time. You got to target the tides, play your tides, watch your rips. There's a lot of factors that come in with that.
Wahoo will only bite a few times a day.
And if you're not in that window,
within like a 20-minute period, and that's it.
It's got to be set. Your spread's got to be set up just right, and it's got to be set up where it's diverse in your depths and diverse in your colors. With that,
and if you miss it, it's done.
And then pick up, and you can go dolphin fishing with Andy.
That's right.
On his Hatteras.
Yep. Well, he's got that 17-foot Carolina skiff, but he's got that area down below with this flat screen TV, the generator, the AC, everything. isinglass. He's got the tower on there.
He does. He does. You spot fish from a mile away on that tower.
We have a good time on that boat. So.
Well, that is your tournament recap and fishing tips from us while you're tournament fishing. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay, debate of the week. We're going to talk about the Goliath thing again. I know we've been talking about this a lot this year, but we're going to bring it up one more time. The reason why we are bringing it up the main reason is because there's a workshop you still got a few workshops that this is the last month here, guys. And if you're in any of these areas, we suggest you go to the workshop and support the research process of catching a Goliath grouper, okay? We're going to start with October 9th is Jacksonville, and that's right around the corner, guys, ladies and gentlemen. October 10th is Titusville. And just look in your local, go to FWC and they'll tell you exactly where to go.
You can go to fwc.com and look up Goliath Grouper Workshops. Just type it in, or it'll probably show it somewhere on the main page, and just click in and see what's closest to you. So you've made it to...
We're at Titusville, which is October 10th. October 11th is Stewart.
Closest to us, we'll probably more than likely be there.
We'll try to get there, of course. October 12th is Davie. That's down south.
Which should be at, more than likely, the IGFA headquarters next to Bass Pro Shops in Dania, right off Griffin Road.
Well, most likely. October 16th is Pineless Park.
Pinellas. Well, Pinellas. It's called Pinellas. Pinellas County, Pinellas Park.
Oh, okay.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Sorry.
October 17th is Port Charlotte. And October 18th is Naples.
What's left of it.
Hopefully. And then October 25th is Tallahassee, guys, which will be the last one before they make a decision on this Goliath grouper thing. Now, granted, we've been talking about this, and I got another thing I gotta say. It just drives me up the wall.
Don't tease me about my shirt.
Well, no,
ladies, you know I'm wearing it. It's your month.
Yeah, it's your month, ladies.
Stand for you.
I can't make. If he wears that outside of October, I will make fun of him.
At least I wear it to bass fishing tournaments.
Just saying. Just
hang around him like this. He gets rolling. Get away from me. No, man, he's my friend Andy. Come on over, guys.
Anyway, I do have something to say. We're always talking about how much damage the lionfish does. Okay, but we never talk about how much damage the Goliath grouper does, and
they don't. According to the divers, the Goliath
grouper don't do any damage.
They don't hurt anything.
Now let's put two and two together here, guys. Let's be realistic instead of trying to listen to CNN or divers, whatever you want to call them. They do, to me, and I can probably prove it if I put my time and effort into it. They do more damage to the reefs than people will acknowledge. I don't want to say they probably do acknowledge it. They just don't want to admit it. They just put that much more damage. You have a fish that's 600 pounds who eats just about everything off the reefs. You have a little lionfish that maybe gets up to 4 or 5 pounds, and they're saying that does so much more damage to the reef than the Goliath grouper. I'm not buying it for a minute.
And a lot of people don't, because of the fact that the lionfish is such a small fish. The lionfish, granted, eats a lot of juvenile fish. It would really be nice if we could train the lionfish to eat the baby Goliath groupers.
Right.
But, I mean, you do the math. It's kind of like Andy says, which one does more damage? And when we talk about damage to the reefs, which is what you hear Andy say a lot, damage to the reefs, we're talking about the critters that live on the reef. And I like to use that word, critters. The critters that live on the reef, which are, your fish that live on the reef, the smaller fish. And these Goliath grouper, and they can say what they want, and they don't eat this and they don't eat that. And, we were in an FWC meeting, Andy said, I'd like to know what they eat. What are they eating? Well, they've got these certain ways where they'll catch these fish and drag them hook and line, drag them up into the boats, and they shove water hoses down their throats and blow them up with water, and then they regurgitate everything that they've eaten. So they do this with I don't know how many now. See, this is where I got to cover my butt too. I don't know how many they did this with, how many of these fish that they use this process on, but they're like, well, we didn't find this, and we didn't find a bunch of yellowtail in them like we thought. Well, maybe there wasn't a bunch of yellowtail around that day, because I know they eat yellowtails. I know they eat snook.
Well, my theory is, and I grant it, I didn't mean to cut you short, but my theory is where are these? They're getting these specimens from these grouper. How big are these grouper? Are they 10 pounds? Are they 25s?
Are they juvenile? Are they medium? Males?
Because you're
females?
not taking an 800-pound Goliath grouper and putting it on the deck without hurting it or damaging it or killing it.
Let me ask
I
you
don't
a
care
question.
how good or how smart or how powerful you think you'll be able to put a fish on there and revive it and keep it alive.
How much do you think you need to eat to weigh 800 pounds?
Exactly my point.
That's a lot of groceries, folks, because there's no way that even a 300-pound fish can maintain that weight without putting away some serious groceries. I don't care what you say. I know they eat a lot. I bet that you know what? If we were allowed to harvest them, I probably wouldn't eat. I wouldn't eat them for the fact that first thing I'd say was, what's the cholesterol content?
Or
because
mercury.
it's pretty high because they eat a lot of lobster, and lobster are the worst for cholesterol. But we're together on this, and we always will be. And I fumble around with it because it's like, look, you can tell me what you want, but tell me that a 400-pound fish does not need a bunch of groceries to survive. You're wrong. And when you look down where these Goliath grouper gather up when they mate, there ain't a whole bunch of fish around because I think the fish kind of know better. But when they're out there and they're a single predator on a wreck inside these giant holes, and a 10-pound mutton snapper or a mangrove swims in there,
It's like a vacuum cleaner.
your dinner time, Jack.
And
period.
it's not these Goliath groupers don't have to chase these fish down. All they do is open their mouths, suck the water through their gills, and the fish just go in like a vacuum seal.
A 800-pound fish from here to the camera, which is located approximately probably 5 foot from this handsome guy and Andy, they open their mouth and pull in so much water. Their mouths they're this big. They're like the lid on a Volkswagen.
Their mouths are bigger than Danny's. No
Those
joke.
things got to pull. That's a hard one, guys. Trust me. They pull in so much volume of water when they just slurp these baits in. I call them baits. We'll call them dinner for the Goliaths. Look, it's a no-brainer. You know, if they paid as much attention to these Goliaths and what they do to the fishery. See, I don't say the reef, to the fishery. I got a feeling they're neck and neck with these lionfish.
And I brought listen. Granted, I'm not saying we should stop killing the lionfish. I definitely think they're non-native, and I definitely think they're a
kill
problem.
all the lionfish.
Let's go
Don't
for it.
overkill the Goliath grouper.
Don't overkill the Goliath
but
grouper.
definitely, look, if you're talking like and back to the 400 fish thing, that's what these meetings are all about. They're suggestive meetings. They want input. They don't want guys like me and Andy to come in screaming, which is really what I'm really good at, because I do that for a lot of different organizations. When it comes to standing on a podium, I voice my opinion in a pretty rude manner, but in the proper manner, because if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm going to say I'm wrong. I opened my mouth, shouldn't have said that like that. Here's the proof. Show me the hard data. But when it comes to fish that I think are just totally, look, man, it's a no-brainer. Well, I don't even
So
have
listen, what we're trying to tell you guys, if you are living these areas, we're going to read off these dates again and places. When you are in these areas, please, and especially if you support it. If you're a diver, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. You guys are pretty ignorant, if you want my opinion.
Want me to run it through real quick again?
Yeah, let's go through the
Look,
dates.
you can go to myfwc.com if you'd like to leave a comment. If you can't make these meetings, it's imperative that you leave comments. Back to what I meant to say just now is, they really don't want us saying, kill them all, or hey, open the season, or suggest something in a proper manner like I did, and I was quoted in a lot of papers throughout the state when one newspaper guy came to me, a reporter, and asked me, well, how do you feel about it? And I said, well, here's how I feel about it. Yes, they need to be protected, but yes, I think that there's too many of them, and it's time to do some harvesting on them, as long as all the money that's collected through this harvest of selling these tags at $300 and something a piece, which is dirt cheap to me, but that's all legislative. That's their highest price they can charge. As long as the money goes to research and that fish goes to research, so that they can cut them open and start learning more about them. Because they might learn a little more if they start killing one here and there and going, okay, let's see what's really in this thing, versus trying to figure it out when these fish are alive. Now, here's the dates. Go to myfwc.com if you'd like to leave comments or find out where this is right close to you. It's the Goliath Grouper Workshops, October 9th in Jacksonville, Florida. October 10th in Titusville, Florida, which is you people that live in the Oak Hill area, the Deltona area. That's perfect for you guys. Then you've got Stuart, Florida, which is St. Lucie County, October 11th. Jensen Beach, folks. Hey, man, y'all need to jump on this one. October 12th is the Davie meeting. It's in Davie. More than likely, it's probably going to be held at the IGFA, which is a beautiful place. You ought to go there and check it out. October 16th, Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida. October 17th, Port Charlotte, which is Redfish City, and I'll bet they'll eat some redfish too. October, because they live under bridges in Tampa.
Yep.
They're living under the Skyway Bridge in Tampa, folks, and they're down there beating up on all your fish under there, and you ain't allowed to do nothing about it. So I'm not saying kill them all, do something about it. It's what we're looking for. October 18th is in Naples, Florida. Hope them people in Naples are coming out of Hurricane Irma pretty well. October 25th is in Tallahassee, and everyone would think, wow, that's the capital, you know, of Florida. That meeting's where they're going to start making decisions or not. It's not. It's still a workshop. If you live anywhere near Tallahassee, you need to go to these meetings and voice your opinion. Because if you don't, let me tell you what, Andy, tell them about when we went out there, how outnumbered we were at the meeting in Lantana, Florida.
We were outnumbered.
Oh my God, probably
5 to 1.
5 to 1 or 6 to 1. I was going to say 6 to 1 against the diving community and other people who didn't want any kill at all of these fish.
And I understand what the divers want. I get it.
We're not totally against them on it. We get it.
We want the divers to do whatever they want to do. But it's not a one-way street, okay, guys? It's not a one-way street. There is a fishing industry out there, just like there's a diving industry, you know, and we got to come to some kind of agreement here because you're not going to get your way every single time. There's absolutely no way. I will fight. I will stand up and fight for it.
And that is the X generation debate of the week.
Okay, so this time we're seriously going to talk about weather and predictions.
All right, so the weather, Friday's going to be a little rough, 3 to 5 with an occasional 6. But Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 15 mile an hour, 2 foot southeast winds. I'm not buying that it's going to be 2 foot. It's going to be like probably 2 to 4. So check your weather. Make sure it's not blowing any harder than, and use your common sense. Double check the weather before you go out as well. As far as that goes, what do you think's happening?
I think with this east wind, the strong east wind that we had in this high tide thing, I think fishing's good. But the problem is you're going to have a hard time finding these fish. They're not going to be in your standard area where you normally catch them. They're either going to be moving, they're going to be scattered, they're going to be everywhere. Now listen, I did get a report from daytime sword guide right after the hurricanes. He went daytiming. And I know this doesn't make sense, and I really don't have any proof. I wish he did show me a picture because I really don't have any proof. But he caught a daytime swordfish, not just one, 2 daytime swordfish, and they both had mutton snapper in their bellies. So I'm telling you, we don't know how, or you'll never see that again. That's unheard of. But I think there's a lot of reasoning behind it. My theory would be that either these fish got pushed offshore by the storm, or the swordfish got drawn in from the storm and then went back out after the water calmed down. So that being said,
in the Keys today, they were offshore in the Keys dolphin fishing, and they were catching bonefish.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. I heard about that. Yep.
So things are messed up. But my predictions with this east wind is that all this debris from the hurricanes are going to hit the Gulf Stream, head north, and the dolphin fishing should be pretty good.
And if you don't go out there, the inshore bite will be hot all across the board. Check those beaches. Look for those finger mullet running through the bridges as well. We'll go into, we'd like to thank our, the question of the week. We do have a winner. Actually, we don't have a winner. We had close to a winner. He didn't answer the question correctly, so Wayne's going to post that picture up.
Try again.
You were just, it's not just the species itself, it's the true name of it, because there's a bunch of species that are part of that name. But you didn't give me both names. You didn't give me the true species name. So you were close, but now it's a $100 gift certificate to X Generation, and you must email us at xgenfishing@gmail.com. Again, xgenfishing@gmail.com, and the first person with the correct answer will get that $100 gift certificate. You must watch the show next week to see if you are the winner.
And our sponsors, X Generation, Silver Lining Charters with Danny Barrow, WRPBI TV, Shark Fever, Madsen Fishing Charters, and J-Cam Lures.
And J-Cam, before you support your local tackle stores, guys, I just want to let you know that Mike is going to be off the market in a week from now, week and a half. He is getting married. And, so ladies, I'm sorry. Or guys, I'm sorry. Guys out there, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, but we'll see you next week.
Incredible power to journey to a world beyond anything we thought possible. We wish, we hope, we dream. Then we come to realize wonder can be real after all. Lumos Maxima.
The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, arriving at Universal Studios Hollywood, April 7th.